welcome to another episode of the Zero Box Prize podcast, the podcast that serves you three scoops of pop culture. And I got a special guest with me on today, man. A good friend of mine's and also a big Star Wars fan, my buddy Vinnie Stella. Vinny, what's going on, brother?
Hey, how are you, brother? What's going on?
Uh, oh man, we're just living in a COVID world still, but we're just trying to survive, brother.
I hear you on that one.
But
Shows
obviously,
Mandalorian keeping us sane over here.
oh man, see, you just said that's the best segue ever, man. For everybody listening, man, we are gonna get into the Mandalorian and Star Wars, and my buddy Vinny, man, he's been a big Star Wars fan, knows a lot about Star Wars, so I figured, hey, man, I gotta get him on the show. He knows what he's talking about, man, and boy, 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 is it me or is the Mandalorian that show could be like just its own movie?
Yeah, man. I think what John Favreau has done with the show, he's putting Star Wars back on the map for everyone. He's keeping it alive. There's a lot of us that have been, fans. I've been a fan since I was a little kid. Christmas just came. Yes, waking up. I have all the original action figures, and I grew up watching the show, and I want to pass that down to my son and the younger generation, who are into Star Wars and into all this stuff. And Mandalorian is brings back the old movies, and that feeling. Bringing back that feeling is not easy.
No, yeah, definitely, man. And you know what's crazy? John Favreau, man. Like, I remember John Favreau from what's that classic movie from the '90s that he was in? Was it not Swing Kids? It was kind of like they were hanging out at bars, man. Like he was in those like independent Miramax Dimension films a lot, man. Then obviously we seen him
Yeah.
in the Marvel movies. But then seeing him take over Star Wars is just
Yep.
amazing what he's done, and bringing in the different directors, like Robert Rodriguez directed that episode where Boba Fett was just whooping ass, all over the place. That was just epic, man. But definitely,
Yeah.
listen, Disney Plus, man, they're gonna keep getting a lot of subscribers, man. Their subscription is just gonna keep going up and up and up. But I know that we are looking forward into season three. I know you are too, Vinny. So
Oh, Disney is all about bringing that feeling to the fans and families and kids and stuff like that. I think them kind of picking up Star Wars and collabing with George Lucas and doing everything that they're doing. I think the future is going to be huge for Star Wars, and I think that was a good move on his behalf because Disney's huge and it's always keeping things alive. And bringing in all these actors from the past, and I thought that was a huge part of the show. It brings back so much nostalgia, such a big nostalgic feeling to see especially Michael Biehn from who played Kyle Reese in the Terminator. Seeing him in one of the episodes with Rosario Dawson. You see guys like that, and you're like, oh shit, like I can't believe this guy. He's part of this. Where did they get him? And I love seeing that these guys want to be part of it. They want to keep this thing alive. They want to keep it going for the the sake of Star Wars and how big this really is. And they just by having them in it, it's showing how big of an impact it has on fans and everybody.
no, definitely, definitely. Now, I'm gonna be honest, and for all the listeners listening, like I didn't grow up that big on Star Wars, but I did over the last 2, 3 years dabble into the whole history of Star Wars, and I became a huge fan. And The Mandalorian just made me a bigger fan right now, man. As a matter of fact, this is gonna be an audio and video podcast, but I'm showing Vinny right now my Mandalorian figure.
There you go.
I had to pick this guy up, man. I had to put him in the collection. But Vin, like, what about yourself? Like, when did you get involved into this whole Star Wars franchise? Like, what got you into Star Wars?
Well, as a kid, my dad, growing up, my dad was always big on, watching, the original trilogies, like Indiana Jones, Back to the Future, Alien. Star Wars was definitely one of them. He was always, watching. He's a big movie buff, so sci-fi was one of his favorites. He loves horror. So he always had it on. And as a kid, I'm always running. I was running around doing my thing, but I would always stop in the living room and I would just be hypnotized by these movies. The action, and then eventually, I was like, making the connection. I'm like, oh, Harrison Ford, he's Han Solo, but he's also Indiana Jones. So it was just sick to grow up and see that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm 32 years old, so I was born in the late '80s, so I was big on the Star Wars, and then growing up, they did the remake where they brought the HD back and they kind of fixed up the episodes, touched them up. I mean, personally, I love to see the originals. I'm into the '80s, special effects and stuff like that. You can definitely tell it's not as advanced, but it definitely has a nostalgic feeling. But I grew up, with all the action figures, and um, I was a big fan of A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Um, then they came out with the Phantom Menace and the Clone Wars, the prequels, which I think they did a great job with, and they came out with the new movies, which are good too. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the new ones. I do like them. I do think that they bring kind of like the feeling that I had as a kid to like the new generation. But I'm a very original guy, and I think the Mandalorian brings that original feeling back, you know, um,
Yes.
from that, and I like to keep that. I like how they keep that original script going with Boba Fett coming back. I mean, in the comics, they talk
Yep.
about
Yep.
him, being alive and crawling out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yep.
um,
Yep. Yep.
when you see his armor, in the first episode, um, the Marshal, when you see his armor right
Oh,
away, these
amazing.
things that the Mandalorian pokes at you. That's what draws you in. That's what keeps you like, oh my God, like what's gonna happen? Is Boba Fett gonna come back? Is that just his armor? Um, Grogu. Everybody loves Grogu.
The baby.
Like, where does all this tie in? That's what
By
that's
the
what.
way, I know that 2020 has been a crazy year, but thank God for Baby Grodu, man, because we had a little bit of cuteness going on this year, and it gave us something to look forward to, that cute little baby, man. And you know what's funny, man? Watching the show, he doesn't really say much. He's just like, meh, meh, like little subtleties, but it's just so cute, man. But Vinny, I want to
Yeah.
bring up a topic because you brought something really good up. You mentioned the prequels, and like I'm a fan of the originals. I'm an '80s baby too. Love practical effects, man. Like, these guys in the '70s, late '70s, when George Lucas was making the movies, like they actually built these monsters, and you have like 9 puppeteers controlling like one monster. Nothing beats that. But with the prequels, and we all know what happened. Ryan Johnson, he directed what was it? Not the last Skywalker. That was J.J. Abrams. What was the one before that again? From the people prequels, the
Oh,
last three.
Rogue One.
Yeah, yeah. Ryan Johnson just messed that all up, and J.J. Abrams, with the last Skywalker film, man,
Yeah.
he had to fix just a bunch of stuff that was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, can you imagine Disney coming up to you and being like, Vinny, you're gonna have to fix Star Wars, and now
Yeah.
you have to fix all these plot holes, all these things that make no sense, man. And kudos to J.J. Abrams because I think he
Yeah.
did the best
That's
job
a
he
lot of
could,
pressure.
man. But it's just tough, man.
Well, I think J.J. Abrams is definitely one of the best, around nowadays, definitely, and the guy to do the job. And I just think they could have went. I mean, there was the thing about Star Wars is you can do so much with it. It can go. They can go in any direction with it. And I think that they just maybe with the new movies, I don't know if they were like, a little overwhelmed. I mean, I know they wanted to bring, a lot of new things into it. I'm not sure if they were just, incorporating a lot of politics into it, but, the new characters, new role models, Ray, being a lead female role, which I loved, and I thought it was great. I mean, I was super excited when I saw the Force Awakens. Um, to see like these new characters, and you want to see the Star Wars universe. You want to see more. You want to see more characters. You want to see more planets. You want to see more species out there. And I think they could have. I think that they. J.J. Abrams, he had to fix it because I just think that they were overwhelmed with which way they could have went with the script. I don't think they had a good idea of like how we should do this. I think it's like when you have so much on your plate, you're not sure where to start and you're not sure where to finish, and you need a guy like J.J. Abrams to kind of like organize everything.
Nah,
And
definitely,
I
definitely.
think that's why they brought him into it because he's good at doing that.
No, definitely.
You know,
Definitely
but
agree with you.
yeah,
Um, so
like the
let's
Mandalorian.
recap.
Go ahead.
No, what I want to do is I wanted to recap with you, and for everybody listening, spoiler alert. If you have not seen the last episode of The Mandalorian, then stop listening to this right now. But
That's right.
yeah, man, I want to recap with you this last episode. So, like, first of all, epic, 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 epic. I was crying like a high school girl going on her first date, man, when I saw this episode. I
Yep.
was
Yep.
livid, man. Like I just had tears, just tears coming down my eyes. But let's recap this for a second. So, in this episode, they hijack what was it, like one of the space one of the spaceships, right? It was
Yeah.
like they hijack it so they can try to get with
Yeah.
Gideon.
Yeah. Moff Gideon. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Now
That was his main ship. It was almost like, you know, uh, Grand Tarf with the Star Destroyer. They all have like their main ship that they travel on, and that was definitely his.
that he definitely had a pimped out ride with that spaceship, man. I don't know. I don't know if it was a BMW spaceship or Mercedes, but
Yeah, it
Gideon
looked
is a
fly as
G.
hell. It really did.
Yeah, he's pimped out on that ride, man. But yeah,
Oh,
so they hijack it, and then listen, I gotta say this, man. I've never seen this in a Star Wars movie ever. But when what's her name? Cara Dune has the guard,
yep.
and the guard's talking all this smack, like, yeah, I blew up your planet. What you gonna do about it? And then all of a sudden, she just shoots him in the face. Straight G Unit guerrilla style. I was just like, okay, am I watching Star Wars or Boys in the Hood? Because like I've never seen, like I've never seen something like
Oh,
that.
oh
Like,
yeah, man. I mean, I think that's just the element of yeah. I think that's just the element of surprise that the directors wanted to bring to the show and just show that anything can happen at any given moment. you know.
did you catch Mando's face when she shot him in the face? He was just like, God damn! Like he was
Yep.
even surprised, like that she shot him in the
Yep.
face. Like I wasn't even expecting that, man. Um,
Well,
but
I
then we
mean,
get
there's a way of the Mandalorian, the Mandalore and the way of the Mandalorians, and then this episode just goes to show that you got to break some rules, and that's just the Star Wars galaxy. You got
yeah,
to do
man.
what you do to
You
get
get
the job done.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I was just surprised by that, but it was awesome. So now they get into the ship, and listen, man. Let me just say this, man. Those Death Troopers. Now, when the Death Troopers were first introduced in that episode where Boba Fett comes and little baby Grogu, he's trying to send a signal to a Jedi.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
know about you, but when those Death Troopers showed up on that episode and they were flying down, it kind of reminded me of the Sentinels from X-Men. I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting X-Men vibes here. Like, is Storm gonna
yep.
come out or something? Like, what the hell's going on? Disney, I know you own Marvel too, so come on, man. You're gonna mix it up here, but yeah, man,
Oh
these Death Troopers are insane. Now, I don't know about you, but did you get like Terminator vibes when that one Death Trooper came out and was punching Mando in the face?
oh, definitely. That gave me a Terminator vibe all day. I mean, that's signature Schwarzenegger right there. You know, just pummeling and going in there and just just ready to destroy. You know, no questions asked. They. I mean, those they were straight droids. You know, they were there was no that was it, and that I think that was a new. I mean, they do have droids in like the Clone Wars, obviously, and stuff. Just to bring out those straight droids. They were scary. They were actually scary. You know, the Skynet vibes were there.
I
you
know.
know,
I was waiting for the T1000 to come out, man. Liquid endoskeleton, man. Like, what the hell's going on here?
that would have been amazing. It definitely brought a lot of fear to the episode. Like how the hell, Thank God he was wearing the pure Beskar because his armor is pretty much indestructible. Because
Oh
if he
my.
wasn't that man, I think that episode would have ended a little differently.
Oh yeah, man. He might need a couple of Tylenols after getting
Oh yeah.
pummeled like that, man.
I
But let
think
me
it
ask you.
definitely set it up for obviously the finale of the show, just setting it up, just showing that those things are pretty, you know.
No, definitely. But have they had Death Troopers before in other Star Wars stories or anything, Vinny? Have you heard of those before? The Death Troopers, this is the first time I see these. I don't know if they've been introduced before or
I
this.
think so. I think in the last couple episodes, that's when I started seeing them. Um, having those, they're it's almost like a new generation of droids that they created and they were able to create, and it was almost like they were fueled up. Um, just like when they went in that episode with Bill Burr, they went to that facility and then they were carrying all that the cargo that's what they needed to power up the ships, mostly to power up the death droids because those things were just indestructible. You saw in the episode how they kind of like get powered up, and that was it. They went off.
Yeah, yeah. This episode was definitely crazy, man. Now I gotta say this though, because I did not expect this. So when Moff Gideon, after Mando fights the Death Troopers and he goes in, he sees Grogu, little baby Yoda looking. Oh my God, poor little guy. Can somebody feed him or something with those little shackles he had, the little baby cubs, man. But yeah, when Moff Gideon out of nowhere takes out that Dark Saber and just starts smashing him with him, like
Yeah.
that was that was pretty epic, man. Like it was a pretty hardcore fight right there, man. Like he Moff Gideon, I got a lot of Darth Vader vibes from him. I don't know. What do you feel about that?
Moff Gideon, I mean, he's the villain that we all want. He's that villain that we know it's going to take a lot of firepower to take him down, and I thought it was amazing, and the Dark Saber, history behind all that, and significance to every episode. Even the Beskar sword that the Mandalorian had. I mean, if he didn't have that, ultimately Moff Gideon would have probably taken him down. I mean, he has all that Beskar armor to protect him, but the fact that he had that pure Beskar spear, like that long sword spear, he was using that to defend himself, which which I love because it connects you to all other episodes. I mean, thank God he went in, met Rosario Dawson, and they went and overthrew that facility, and he ended up getting that sword. So
Yeah, definitely. Now, here's one thing I want to talk. So the Dark Saber, Vinny, in so from what I heard that it was created by a Jedi slash Mandalorian, and then the saber was passed down from generations. I know that it was in the Clone Wars, And then from the Clone Wars, it was passed down to Bo-Katan. But I haven't seen the Clone Wars series yet. But was that introduced in the Clone Wars, the Dark Saber?
I wasn't, I'm kind of like you. I mean, I've seen some of the Clone Wars, so I'm not exactly familiar with the cartoon, series that they came out. I don't know if it was brought up or not in the Clone Wars. I know that it was something passed down, and I know the significance of it is to wield the dark saber. You have to beat somebody in combat, and
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of power behind it, and it has, it's passed down to the, Mandalore and all that stuff. So it was I think it was great seeing that, you know, and now the Mandalorian has it, and whoever wants to get it from him, it's pretty much the only way to get it is to win it in combat, which I think is a huge thing for the next season. It
yeah,
could be a huge significance for the next season. Um,
yeah. And I want to talk about that because like then we see Mando get the dark saber. They walk into the ship, into the main hall of the ship, and he's gonna give Bo-Katan the dark saber. He's like, "Look, here you go. Like you already helped me. I had to get my baby back. I'm back being a father. Like here, this is what you wanted. Take it." And Moff Gideon's like, "Pfft, she can't just take that like that. Like she's gonna have to like fight you. And you can tell that Mando's like, man, forget this. I'm not trying to fight. Like, I got my baby. I gotta go pay these diaper bills. Like, nah, I'm all set. And like, she didn't, she didn't want to take it, and he was just like, take it, take it, take it. And I don't know. I felt like Mando doesn't want to have that responsibility of like being a ruler.
yeah, yeah. I think he's just got, you know, I mean, there's a lot of, originality, they have to stick to, and certain ways that they believe in and stuff like that. But I don't think Mando, I think, he starts off with a certain purpose in the beginning of the season. He's just a bounty hunter and he's looking for jobs. And then I think that going through his whole journey throughout the whole Mandalorian series, by the end he realizes that he has a bigger purpose, and that he doesn't want to just rule in one spot or have all this power, that he's kind of like better than that. I mean, you know, spoiler alert, he takes off his mask, and you see the emotion with him and Grogu, and I think he realizes, in the beginning he's just like, I don't want to deal with this kid. You know what I mean? I
Right, right,
don't want
right.
that responsibility. And towards the end, he's got a love for the kid, and the dark saber. He doesn't care about stuff like that. He's realizing that his purpose is bigger than that, and there's more things to care about in the universe than just ruling Mandalore. Of being, he's ready to give that up. That's the last thing on his mind. He's like, you can just take it. I forfeit. Like, you don't have to
Yeah.
beat you don't have to beat me in combat. I submit. Here you go. Just take it, because he doesn't want that. So
Nah, definitely, man. So she doesn't want to take the dark saber, and Moff Gideon looks at them and it's like, the only people that are gonna get out of this
after.
ship is myself and the baby. And then the Death Troopers come and they're smashing through the hall trying to get in. Now, Vinny, who did you think was gonna come to their side? Because like we all know that Baby Yoda was, in that last episode trying to send out a signal to a Jedi to come help. Did you really think it was who you thought it was?
Well, first of all, that's the nature of the show, which I think, my favorite thing about this show is every episode starts off completely off subject. You know,
Right,
you
right.
almost you almost forget about Grogu reaching out. What Ahsoka tells him to go to that, planet, and go to that little spot on the mountain and to reach out, and then she mentions that a Jedi will feel his presence, and a Jedi will, um, sooner or later, reach out to Grogu, and that's how he'll know that he chose the way to be trained as in the Jedi arts, and just continue doing that. And with everything going on, you completely forget about that. You kind of like, oh shit, Grogu got captured by the death droids, and and then you get to that episode, and obviously you see the X-wing fly in, and I
Oh
mean,
my
there's like a million
God.
things going through my mind. Is that
Vinny,
Ahsoka?
I actually paused the show. I actually paused it, got to the screen, and I was trying to see the red stripes, if I can see the red stripes on the X-wing. And I was like, okay, I can't see him. I don't know who this is. Is it Ahsoka Tana? And a lot of people were thinking it was uh Kyle Kestis from the Jedi Fallen Order game on the PS4. Like, people
True,
were
true.
wondering, like, who is this person? Like, who can it be? Because remember, they're grabbing everything from each canon of the Star Wars universe. Like, they're grabbing all
Yeah,
these characters,
yeah,
man, and it's like it just
yep.
had you on the edge of your seat. So we see this person come out of the X-wing with a cloak, and I'm in my seat just shaking and trembling, like, oh my God, who can this be, man? And then we see the glove. When you
Yep.
saw that glove in the hand, what was your reaction, Vinny? I just want to know how you were feeling, because I know you told me you were watching it with your brother, but when you saw that glove, what were you thinking at that time?
I think I was just so like concerned about the death troopers beating through the door, and how are they gonna get out of this one? I was like, there's no way if these death troopers make it through the door, there's no way in hell that they are gonna get the hell out of there in one piece. There's just no way. And then I saw the X-wing, and I kind of Ahsoka. I assumed it was her, like maybe she had an X-wing on that planet. So I was like, oh, maybe she's showing up. She changed her mind. She's kind of neutral. It's like she didn't really want anything to do with training Grogu and stuff. When I saw the black cloak, I didn't immediately think who it was originally. But when
Right.
I saw the green lightsaber, that's when I was like, I started putting it, obviously, I put everything together like, that's right. This takes place right after Return of the Jedi. you know. Um,
Right,
so it
right, right.
makes sense that and but for them to go into that direction to bring back something from the past, it draws everything together. It connects this series that happened after they created the prequels and after they created the 7, 8, and 9. Um, and it just the fact that it drew back all the way to Return of the Jedi, connecting everything, is the most amazing thing that John Favreau and all the directors and producers and George Lucas could have done with the show. Honestly, in my opinion, and seeing Luke, that was mind blowing because it just he's a Jedi at this point. He's a full Jedi. He came out of Return of the Jedi. They blew up the Death Star. Um, and it's almost like he knew this whole time this was going on. When
Oh
Grogu
yeah.
went to the mountain and he was connecting with the Force,
Yep,
and
yep.
he, who did we think would be the one to connect with him? You know what I mean? I mean,
Groku sent him a text message like, "Yo, I'm over here, bro.
yep,
Come pick me
yep,
up, man. What the hell? Where the hell you at, man?"
yeah,
Yeah, dude, I lost it because, like, and how cute was Grogu when he was going to the screen to the Vader monitor and he's just like trying to touch it because he senses the Force. Now, Vinny, there's this thing called Jedi sensitivity, and those Death Troopers, they felt it. Because did you see how they turned around when Luke ended up coming in? Like, they all turned knowing that something was there. Like, they sensed something, and they all turn. And I keep hearing about Jedi sensitivity or Force sensitivity, and, like,
oh
I
yeah.
don't know if these Death Troopers could sense it, but they all turned around right away, and then we get this epic, epic, just slicing and dicing through all these Death Troopers, man. Like, were you just jumping up and down as you're watching this?
Bro, it was probably as exciting as the end of Rogue One,
Yes,
which I have to
yes.
say is my favorite of the new movies that they've created. But
Yes.
off subject, he looked dark at the end of. I mean, that is his father. he almost he almost possesses that dark power that Darth Vader had. I mean, he's wearing all black. He's got the fake hand, just like Darth Vader. I mean, he went off. It wasn't just like the Jedi power. He was using the Force to crush those droids. Those
Oh,
droids were like basically indestructible before Luke showed up.
oh my God. And the
Uh,
way he
Seeing
crushed
those
that
droids
last one.
crumble, yeah, seeing those droids crumble to nothing from Luke shows how powerful he is, and he was there for one reason and one reason only, and to just take Grogu under his, as his apprentice, and that's it, man. I mean, that
Oh,
was that. So, I mean, my jaw was to the floor, and that's still thinking about it. They couldn't have done it any better, any
oh,
better.
I hands down agree with you, man. And it's funny because like we see him take off his cloak and we see his face, and obviously it was CGI, digitally computer generated, man. And it's funny because like adults, like our parents who were in their 30s, who are our late 20s that went to go see Star Wars, and now they're watching this and they're probably like in their late 50s or 60s, and they're like, oh my God, look at Luke, like they're bringing him back. And us growing up with these films, we're like, this is amazing. I lost it, man. And the saddest thing, man, is, you know Mando has to make the choice. Like, okay, here you go. He's giving him, Grogu, and Grogu doesn't want to go. He keeps holding on to him, and Luke tells him like, you got to tell him to go. And it was just like, oh, like how did you
That, that,
felt
that
like,
that's Disney. That's Disney hitting you in the feels, bro.
oh,
That's Disney
oh,
hitting you in the feels, man. The combination of everything, and then Disney throwing that in there. I mean, you've seen Coco, and you've seen all those Disney movies. That's Disney hitting you in the feels right there. But
oh,
back to what you were saying about
yeah.
like the old generation seeing Luke. Let me tell you something. My dad is 66 years old, and when I first saw him after watching that episode, that's the first thing he said to me. He was like a little kid, extremely excited. He's like, "Did you see Luke?" That was it. That's all he said to me.
Wow.
I said, that shit was insane. He was like, "Wow." He's like that. That made his whole year.
Wow.
See it.
Wow.
That was just insane. And then just bringing in, you end up loving all these characters, man. I mean, you end up loving, the Mandalorian. You see the emotion come from him, and that scene right there definitely hits you in the feels. No,
I mean,
they have a bond. They have a bond.
I
Um,
mean, I mean, it's crazy just hearing it from your dad, and he's 66. Like, wow, like, look at what they did. It's almost like your dad's like, hey, you know what? This is bringing me back to the days when I was a bachelor and I was just like having fun and, drinking my beers and going to like Motley Crue concerts, like,
yeah.
it hit him in that way, man. And listen, like, one of the funniest things I think was Groku did not want to go, but as soon as R2D2 came out and R2 was talking to him, Vinny, like, obviously they didn't have any subtitles, but in my mind, I'm picturing what R2 is telling him, like, bro, where the fuck you been at? Like,
Yeah.
we,
Yeah.
we've been looking for you all around the galaxy, man. Look, this happened. Did you know that Anakin was his father? Yeah, yeah. And Grogu must have been like, wait, what? They're just catching up. Like, dude, we got to get back on this spaceship. We got Netflix on it. We got
Yep.
HBO Max.
Yep. Well, I think enough. Like my initial reaction to that also was, that the fact that they kind of mentioned that Grogu was part of the Jedi Council at one point. You know, he was probably, now that you watch like Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, when you see like Obi-Wan go to the Jedi Temple and you see all the little kids training and you see all the different species of children. Obviously Order 66. Anakin goes crazy and he kills. He takes out all the younglings. I mean, somehow, some way, if Grogu was there, which which they confirmed that he was part of that Jedi Council. Those children. He got out of there. You know, they
Yeah.
knew about him. Yeah, I mean, him being on that mountain was his distress signal. The text message that he sent to Luke. He reached out to the Force, and he's like, "I'm right here. This is where I am." And that's exactly how Luke was able to connect the dots, show up right when they needed him. If he didn't show up, game over, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah. Game over. Everybody would have been slaughtered. Like, oof, it would have been a bad scene, man. But yeah, man. Oh, this episode. It's funny. I went online on Facebook and Instagram, and I saw fathers literally like typing like, I just went to go pick up my son from school right now just to hug him, or like, I gave my son
Yeah.
a kiss, like in the
Oh,
like
feeling it.
yeah, yeah, because you're a father, Vinny, and being a dad or a parent, letting go of something that you love and you've been with, and this is like your child, man, like Baby Yoda was Mando's kid,
Yeah.
like they went on all these adventures and he taught
Oh,
him a bunch of stuff.
I don't care how big or tough you are. I mean, if you got love for Star Wars and you have a kid at home, you were the Mandalorian and your kid was Grogu. That's how I felt, and how I felt. That's how I felt throughout the whole season. That's how my son Blake. He's Grogu. He's with me all the time. I'm his protector. Through every episode, you've always had that anxious feeling like if Grogu was in danger, it's like you gotta protect him. you gotta, So seeing that ending, it was definitely a hard thing to see, but it was reassuring to see that Grogu was going with Luke and R2. You know he's in good hands.
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
definitely, man, definitely. And now I feel like all the wrongs were set to right after watching The Mandalorian. And I feel like right now, all I have to do is watch the first three movies, watch Mandalorian, and I'm all set. Now, the prequels, they were
Yeah,
pretty good, Like, if you want to watch the prequels, you can watch
yeah.
the prequels. But I tell people, hey, watch the first three movies, watch Mandalorian. Everything will fit in, right in place.
Oh
But,
yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
You have
what?
to you have to do it in that order.
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a there's a
definitely.
certain order we grew up with. A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. Those are the three movies you need to start with. It might confuse a couple people because it's not in the correct order, but that's how you do it.
Oh,
You
oh
know,
yeah. Oh, most definitely, man. When you're a kid,
that's
it's
how my
like,
kid's gonna watch it. That's how Blake's gonna watch it. I'm gonna be like, all right, we're watching New Hope. And he's gonna be asking me a ton of questions. I'll be like, well, we'll get to that.
you gotta start them young, man. You gotta start them young. Vinny, where do you think they can go from here now? Like after this episode, and we saw the ending, the bonus clip at the end. It was Boba Fett goes back to Jabba's palace, right? And he ends up taking the throne.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and we all know there's gonna be a Boba Fett show coming next year. But where do you see the Mandalorian going now? Like, where can they take this now? Like,
Well, that's the thing that I like about the season finale the most. They they created it's like an empty book now. They could go literally in any direction that they want with it. It doesn't necessarily have to go where the new to like the new movies. I mean, if you're a fan of the new movies, that's great. If you're not, then this is great too because this just leaves it open for whatever they can go. I mean, I know there's going to be so many spin-offs and of originality, original episodes of Ahsoka Tano and Boba Fett's going to have his own show. The Mandalorian's going to have its own, and I think that they're gonna have a way of just continuing what they did with these 2 seasons. Just drawing lines and connecting the Star Wars universe, but also opening us up to new characters. And Disney's gonna throw in the feels. We're gonna feel it too. You know, the emotion that they bring into it, and the nostalgic feeling from the past. I mean, they can just start new. They can start fresh now. It's just a fresh ending to a start of a fresh beginning, and that's what I love about the ending of the Mandalorian season. Because now, I mean, they can make a show about Luke training Grogu. Um, they can make a show about, there could be some more. They can go to like the comics. I mean, the comics and the books. I remember as a kid going to the bookstore and they had all these like Star Wars books. It was almost confusing to me because it was like this had a story of these guys coming in and these guys coming in, and it had nothing to do with like the dark side, but it had something to do with like a different generation or a different species. They can literally do whatever the hell they want to do with it, which I love, and I'm sure the fans are gonna put their input. Like, I want I want to see this, I want to see that. I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's just
Oh,
gonna it's great. I think it's great.
oh man, you just hit the nail on the head, man. Like with the possibilities are everything, and
Yeah.
like what I see is okay. Mando's gonna go do his thing. We're gonna watch the Boba Fett show. We're gonna see what's going on with that. Um, something's Cara Dune, obviously she's gonna go off and do whatever she has to do, Bo-Katan, whatever, and it's gonna be something that connects the Boba Fett show, the Mandalorian, and wherever they go to, even a Luke show training baby Grogu, it's gonna come down to some epic thing that's gonna happen in the galaxy where everybody's gonna have to come together one last time and stop some big force, because we didn't really see what happened to Moff Gideon, because at the end, he was just in he got captured, and Cara Dune was gonna take him with him. So who knows? Who knows where this can go? Maybe Moff Gideon escapes and something happens, or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. I mean, the possibilities are endless right now. And oh my God, thank you, John Favreau, for just putting in the work for us, because we definitely needed this, man.
Killing it, killing it, killing it.
Killing it.
I think he was he bring balance to the movies. Never mind the force. He brought
John
balance.
Favreau, John Favreau gave balance to the force, and he gave balance to all our lives. Finally, man. Oh my
Gave balance.
God.
He gave balance to 2020.
Hey, hashtag Cereal Box Prize Podcast. John Favreau gave balance to 2020. I think that's gonna be the title of this episode. Star Wars. John Favreau gave balance in 2020, man. Uh,
Oh,
uh, yeah, just amazing, man. Look, for everybody listening, man. Listen, I watched this episode 3 times in a row already. I might watch it one more time. I mean, it's just epic. If you have not seen The Mandalorian, check out The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. Disney is gonna be making buka bucks. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be more subscribers subscribing to their
oh yeah.
streaming service after this. So um then before we go, and this was a special bonus episode of Zero Box Price Podcast, because I had to get my thoughts out for this Mandalorian show. Um Obviously you've been a fan, since you were a kid. You collected toys. As a toy collector myself, as you can see in the background, I have a shelves full with toys. Um, what is your favorite Star Wars action figure?
Um, I think that growing up, I had I had the Millennium Falcon, I had the ships, I had all the original action figures. I'd love to like just play with the toys and act out like all the scenes from the movies. Um, anything that comes with a ton of accessories. I think that the most fun that I had with the action figures was actually the speed bikes from Return of the Jedi. The fact that you can like, you can race them, and then if you press a little button on the back, it launches the guy right off it.
Oh, sweet, sweet.
Bro, those toys, like I remember just my dad had to keep buying them over and over because I was, crashing them into the wall and just, it's destruction, you know.
I'm gonna go on eBay right now and see if I can find me one of those, man. Oh, those
Like,
are sweet. I
yeah,
remember those actually, man. That's a good toy. That's actually a good one, then, man.
yeah. I had the most. I have to say, out of all the toys and action figures that I had, those were the ones that I had the most fun with because as a kid, I mean, in Return of the Jedi, when they're on Endor and they're racing, Luke and Leia is like chasing after the speed bikes. I mean, that scene hyped me up as a kid. Yeah, I was running around
Oh man.
my house like I wish I could ride on those. The closest thing would be like a motorcycle, you know?
Oh my God. I know. Can you imagine if you had a motorcycle and then like you, you just press it and it's like a speeder, like a Star Wars speeder? Like what the hell? That would be insane, man. But listen, Ben, man, listen. We This was fun, man. I had to get
Yeah,
you on the show. This will probably not be the first time or the second or the third, I'm bringing you on the cast,
yeah,
man, because
yeah.
there's a bunch of stuff that I'm working on and would love to have you on further episodes. But man, it's true what you said. John Favreau, he brought balance to the force. He brought balance to 2020. This has been a crazy year. It really didn't feel like it was Christmas. I don't know. It feels like Florida right now
Yeah, yeah,
here in New England. I was about to go come out in my Daisy Dukes, So,
yep, yep.
um, but yeah, man, definitely everybody check out Mandalorian on Disney Plus. Guys, check out Cereal Box Sprite podcast on YouTube. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Check out Cereal Box Price podcast on Anchor.fm. Once you go on there, it's gonna give you all the links. You can listen to our episodes. You can check out Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. And before we go, Vin, is there anything else you want to say to the listening public before we get out of here?
May the force be with you.
There
Not
you
only that,
go.
just yeah, just keep listening, man. I mean, I love discussing everything that's going on. I mean, we got to keep this movement going, keep the fans, up and coming with the shows, and I mean, I wish we could have our podcast running all the time because the talks that we have on the daily about
Oh,
this kind of thing is amazing, and just every week that you and I see an episode, and then we end up
oh,
meeting and just connecting the dots and talking about all these connections, and it's exciting stuff, man. I mean, it's been a tough pandemic and having to stay in all the time, but a show like this, man, it just keeps it exciting, keeps your mind busy, keeps you in a positive place, and I think that's the biggest thing about this show, keeping people from going too crazy, going to the dark side,
definitely, man. And with that, I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank my special guest, Vinnie Stella. Thank you, Vinny, for being on the show. And like Vinny
my,
said, man,
my
it
pleasure.
stops you from being to the dark side. Take it easy, everybody. We'll see you on the next show.